you know, how do I start this? Met this young man a couple of years ago, Jack London Square, Oakland. Found out that he was a producer. He was producing one of the up and coming stars, Kamaiyah, and saw since then that the man's music done reached around the globe. He's worldwide now, representing the town right now in a whole new sound. CT Beats is with us right now. CT Beats, what's up with you, family?
Yo, man, what's cracking?
Hey, man, you remember when we met?
I do. It was at the Sway Fest.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I actually got pictures. I was looking at pictures and I was going through it and was like, yo, man, this dude has really come a long way since then, man. How you been, first and foremost? Like, how you been during this quarantine?
I've been cool. I've just been trying to, stay busy working. You know what I'm saying? As a producer, it's not that difficult, but I do, get to work from home. I send out beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely talking to different artists. You know what I'm saying? I'm still pulling up sessions when I can. You know what I'm saying?
You sound like you moving, like you doing this all by yourself. Like you just straight up hands on. You making the beats, you sending them out, you locking it down with artists. Is that how you moving?
Definitely. I am signed. I do got a deal, so I'm always sending beats to Warner. You know what I'm saying? And we always, you feel me? But definitely when it comes to artists, you feel me? I work out of Empire a lot, so I'll be you feel me, building relationships up there, and I send a pack out to the artists for sure.
Okay. Look, man, I want to give people a little bit of your history, then we're gonna dive into some of the things that got us talking today. I know you're from Oakland, California. I'm familiar with the work you've done with Youth Rising, and folks who don't know what that is, can you explain what that is?
Youth Uprising, that's for me, that's the old school spot right there. But that's basically a community center for the youth for Oakland. You know what I'm saying? It's a spot that we was able to go to that had studios, that had programs, they offer jobs. They just try to be there for the kids that's around that area.
Yeah, you learned a lot of your skill set while at the same time working with Youth Uprising, but that ain't how you got into music. You come from a musical background. Like, was your family into music, or did you get into music through the church?
So my family does have a big background in music. A lot of men from my families are church musicians. And so that's kind of how I was brought up in the church. I started playing drums around 5. You feel me? Then it kind of moved to the keys. So that's just something that we had to do church every Sunday. So the music, I just gravitated towards it. You feel me? That's my foundation for sure.
And so you learned how to play instruments in church, and that was your introduction to music. Did you think you was gonna go into a different genre? Well, did you always want to be a rap producer, or did you just want to be a producer in general?
I think gospel kind of introduced me to it, and once I found out what music was, because it's crazy, because I'm playing gospel songs, and as I'm getting older, I'm playing the radio, and it's the same chords. You feel me? So I'm like, oh, so I think I want to be a music producer, because at first it was just gospel. That's what my auntie raised me in the church, so it was just strictly that. Then as I got older, I started thinking for myself, and I'm like, I think I just want to be an overall music producer.
That's interesting. That, like, most people, bro, don't even know how to break down the constructs of a song like that. That could even parallel how the chords are the same in gospel songs that you hear in popular music today, right? Yep. So you read and write music, or you just?
No, I play all by ear.
You play everything by ear?
Everything by ear. Like I said, I was raised in a church, so as a drummer, you just picking it up, and then you hop on, and there's 4 other drummers in there, and I was always like the last drummer because I was the youngest. So, everybody else trying to get on the drums, and I'm like, forget this, man. I'm about to go to the keys, and nobody else was on the keys. So once I learned the keys and the structure of a chord, and that just taught me everything about music. And I can make anything, I can replay anything I hear, I'm on it.
You could play it. Who were at that time, though, like some of the producers that were out at that time that you like? Like, who did you admire? Is this early 2000s or when is this?
So this is like maybe 03, maybe all the way to like 08, 09. This was
Okay.
my transition period where I kind of dived into it and I just did it every day of my life. So the producers that was hot at that time,
Kanye
for sure. You know what I'm saying? You got Manny Fresh. He was doing the thing with Cash. You got Timberland. You got Swiss Beats, and you got Dr. Dre. Those was the ones that I was really, you feel me, focused on. You know what I'm saying? I was really like playing their music over and over and over and over again. And one album that stood out the most though was that Yin Yang Twins, me and my brother. So around that era is where I was really learning how to make beats. You feel me?
Yo, that's crazy because being from the Bay, I'm trying to think. You didn't name one Bay producer.
So that's the hyphy movement. So when I started producing, it was right before the hyphy movement. When the hyphy movement came, that's my whole sound. That's kind of where, you know, I was a youngster coming into a man. So when you talk about the hyphy movement, you feel me? You talking about Drew Down, you talking about Droopy on the beat, you talking about Rick Rock. You know what I'm saying? You talking about all of those producers in that area that kind of birthed kind of my style, but it still kind of got that musicality to it. I'm still playing chords, you know what I'm saying? And not a lot of producers do that where I'm from, or even for me in the industry now. You feel me? And they don't really know everything that they're doing.
If the chords, if the sample was more popular than the live chords, why not do the sample?
I mean, you could do both. You feel me? I don't know if a lot of people know, but I did How Does It Feel? And that was a sample. But I didn't sample the track. I just replayed it. So it's still considered a sample, but some people be like, nah, but you didn't take from, you feel me? You didn't use the actual track. But I kind of did still sample because I used their chords, you feel me? So that's kind of like how I sample music, because I just replay it. You feel me?
You just replay it, interpolation. I think that they call it that. When you first heard How Does It Feel on the radio, bro, I'll just share this with you. Prior to doing radio, me and my partner King Tech, who's from Hayward, we put out music in the Bay, right? And I remember the first time we had a song, I want to say called 4 Minutes of Death or something. It's just me rapping on it. And the dude Kev at KZSU Stanford played the song, bro. It was the first time I ever heard like something I did on the radio. I swear that day I thought I made it. Like I was like, I was like, what?
For sure that.
Yo, what was that like when you first heard that song on the radio? Where were you?
So I think I was at home, and my wife was the one that caught it on the radio, because we heard that it was gonna come on the radio, but we was waiting, so we just had the radio on and we was waiting. And I think when it came on, she just started screaming. So that's when I kind of knew. You feel me? In that moment, I mean, you know, it was surreal. You feel me? I've been doing this all my life. And you know, with Kamaiyah, we was youngsters when we started. You feel me? I think she was 16. I think I was 18. So it's like, to go from there to actually, it's just an undescribable feeling.
Yeah.
You know? That was like a dream come true. Like I finally, it's actually happened. 106 is actually playing, feel me, my music. So like, and then they started coming, you know, Out the Bottle came, and then While Y'all Was Hating came, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, so we doing this now. It's real.
It is very real. And then you start seeing things around you change. The trees don't even look the same no more.
Yeah, everything.
People.
I'm a workaholic, especially when it comes to music. Music is something that I love doing. So for it to become my job, it really wasn't a job for me. You feel me? So becoming a young man, having kids, you know, it don't always pay the bills. So you got to figure out, how can I be this producer and still, you feel me, get my money, be a father, do everything I got to do. So I will always find myself getting jobs in music. That's why I was at Youth Uprising. I went from, for me, cleaning walls and stuff. I was a janitor when I first started, and then I ended up being the studio manager. So it's like there's levels to it. So even now today, like I for sure take, for me, a little school job, because I like working with kids. So I'm working in Oakland right now with a school, and I teach them music. You know, I teach them how to make beats. I teach the programs and all of that. So I mean, like I said, it was that day. It was just surreal, man. Because I really do this. This ain't no game. This ain't no, you feel me? Or we doing it, you feel me? Just because we nah. This is real for me. I'm doing it. My family doing it. Everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely even to this day when I still get accomplishments, it's still surreal to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Cause, you know, honestly, it really hasn't even been that long. You know what I mean? And so it probably feel, I would imagine, like it's a whole lot of stuff coming at once. And then the other thing that you and Kamaiyah were able to do that no one had done in a long time, I'm really trying to think if anyone has really done it. Like, she's really the first female rapper to come out of the Bay, solo rapper. You know what I mean? Female rapper to become a national star.
Yeah.
And then Sweetie came, you know, afterwards and doing what she's doing, and it's incredible. But, you know, we had Conscious Daughters and other groups back in the day, 357. But that's a milestone. That's groundbreaking. That to me is a notch in Bay Area history. Did y'all understand that at the time? Did you know what was happening?
So at the time, I was so focused on, because even back then, my level of producing was at a certain level to where when people know they got on my music, it was being taken serious. So with me and Kamaiyah in the duo, with my work ethic, like we was knocking out 10 tracks a night. You feel me? Like, I don't know how it really happened, but just with her steering it and whatever move she made or whatever move she bust, it just put us in a situation where we just wanted to be. So yeah, like I don't really know. It wasn't planned out. We didn't know it was going to do what it did. You know what I'm saying? We was making music and we was making it because for me that's what we do. You know she'd be at work. I remember she used to work security and she texting me audios, just acapellas. I mean, 1 o'clock in the morning, like, make a beat around this. So it was just that drive and that hustle that kind of really got us to where that one song that just took off. I mean,
now that was an incredible song. It was like a whole movement, and it just kind of, y'all gave us a lot of insight into what the Bay was doing at that time. You know what I mean? Like hands on. But I would imagine, as a producer, just as a producer, man, like, shit, to have your song, like have a song or songs you do that well must be a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I even shot you this text, man, but you got the biggest rapper in the game on Always Hate. Spit on your shit. Come on, man.
So that's why I'm saying at that time, like, to be honest, that was 2016. When I think back, I can hardly remember that time because it was just so, it just wasn't happening, but it was. You know what I'm saying? So how does it feel to get on the radio, then Out the Bottle, and then, you know, Kamaiyah hit me like, they about to fly us out. I'm like, what? You feel me? So her first time flying, we hop on the plane, go to LA, make 10 tracks. Maybe like a week or two later, YG flew me out. He called me. What you doing? I'm like, shit, I'm about to fly you out, because we ran into little issues with the sample. But he flew me out, and that's the first time I heard Drake on it. And I was just like, I wasn't really, you feel me, understanding what was happening. And the song, I'm like, this clapping, Kamaiyah on the hook, and then Drake come on, and it's just like, you know, it's one of the moments where you look around like, wait a minute, is this Drake? And YG looked at me like, yep, that's a play right there. I'm like, oh, so I just kind of let that sunk in. I just sunk into the couch, you feel me, and it was just like, whoa, this crazy.
Yeah. It's confirmation though too. Like, you know, think about it. I mean, I know you nice at what you do. You played your whole life, but we still, you know, it's good to have that confirmation when you got the biggest artist on the game, right?
Definitely. You know what I'm saying? That was like, yeah, it's like, yeah, bro, this really could happen for you, bro. Like, you know, because where I'm from, a lot of people do music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people rap and a lot of people produce. And I don't never think I'm better than nobody. I mean, that ain't never been my attitude. So, if anything, for me, it's producers out here that go crazy, that go way harder than me. But people say it's something about your music that just, you feel me? Got me back to it. So I take that, you feel me? And I'm like, I appreciate it. And for Drake to hop on and even, you feel me, shout out the town like that, I'm like, you feel me? Let's get it.
That was big. Let's talk about some of those producers because I'm excited about being from the Bay and seeing what's happening. I'm excited about it. And there's a lot of guys, like the Mechanics to me, are become Bay Area architects in their longevity and their consistency and their willingness to work with a lot of, you know, Bay Area talent, you know, over the years. You doing the same thing, you building up your repertoire. Ant Banks, you know, back in the day, you know, HBK doing that thing, Zaytoven, you know, people don't be repping that Zaytoven really. We know him from the Bay when he was working with Clyde and JT, the Bigger Figure, you know. What is the camaraderie like? Like, do you and the Mechanics collab a lot? Do you and Droop collab a lot? Who do you collab with?
So right now, the Mechanics, I have not touched the Mechanics yet. They got a real core sound, you feel me? That's real Bay, and a lot of people think, you know, me and they sounds is kind of similar when it comes to certain beats, but those is like idols for me. Like Mechanics been around for a minute and they still doing their thing, and I haven't touched them yet in particular.
When they compare you, that it's a good thing though. You don't see it as a slight.
Okay. Not at all, because I said those are like two producers I look up to. Like I'm trying to see where they at. So for me, my music be compared to it, they'll let me know like, yeah, your music's on a certain level. You know what I mean? Everybody mess with the Mechanics out here, you know what I'm saying? So but as far as other producers, when I first started out, I was more so to myself, like, I need to get this on my own. I ain't really collab like that. But once I got signed, and now that I'm in the industry, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about collabing, all about building relationships. So now, like I said, I'm a whole musician. So it's real easy for me to collab with producers. You know what I'm saying? I go in, play some stuff, play some leads, they put some drums on it. And mostly that's what it's been lately. And I've been in Empire, and Empire kind of been the spot. You know what I'm saying? Me and what's his name? Trackademics be collabing. Me and this producer named Linked Up, we be collabing on a lot of Kamaiyah stuff. It's a producer named Drew Banger. And be collabing on a lot of stuff. And as far as the industry go, my label has sent me to Atlanta, and I collab with a lot of Mike Will producers for me. And you know, I'm still trying to venture out though. You know what I'm saying? Trying to shake some more hands.
Is it a different studio culture when you go to Atlanta than when you in the Bay?
Oh yeah, man. Atlanta show love. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta is a spot where, for me, even just flying in, going to the airport, it's nothing but black people. So they really support each other. You know what I'm saying? They, like, every producer that I collab with, for me, was hella friendly. You know what I'm saying? They all like, man, you the GOAT. For me, you did this, you did that. So it was real respectful. And whenever I go, for me, I love it. You know what I'm saying?
I like them stories about, like, when you make a beat for somebody else and somebody else hears it and go, man, I want to get on that joint. You know, you know, how many times has that happened to you?
All the time.
Give me examples. Give me a couple examples of somebody heard your beat.
So I'm like, at Empire, like that's where I've been lately, out there in the city. And like I said, me and Linked Up, we've been working on a lot of, I think Kamaiyah last project. We did basically the whole thing. And every time we was making a track, you feel me, she'll come through like, just right here, slapping. And then, you feel me, Jack Boy was up in there. He hopped on the feature. And, feel me, she sent one of Mozzie. And, feel me, he hopped on it. So it's like, feel me, like, that's basically, for me, how it go. Like, I'm getting these placements with this other producer, and for me, we just mobbing. So it's like that. For me.
I like it, man. CT Beats, he hanging out with us. He on the rise, man. If you don't know him, get to know him. When we talk to producer talk, I got to ask you this because things have changed since the early days. You know what I mean? A good night in the ghetto days. And now when you work, it's a business. A lot of times when you collab in these studios, folks are just throwing in information. And how often have we heard these stories of people saying they're not getting their publishing, they're not getting their splits?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure things have changed for how you function from the early days in the studio to now.
Sure.
Did you learn what was the biggest loss you took as a producer that you learned from?
So when it comes to the business, like especially with me and Kamaiyah, at the beginning, like I said, we from the hood, from the ghetto. So you feel me, having all that money at once, and then you know me having a song with YG, there was a lot of politics involved. YG tried to sign me, you know what I'm saying, and it was maybe 6 different labels trying to sign me at the time. So I was real back and forth with, you know, from the streets. I'm from the streets, so when the nigga put you on like that, I mean, you got to roll. Questions asked. You feel me? He just put me on. He just gave me a platinum record. You know what I'm saying? So off tops, I'm like, well, I for sure need to sign with YG. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I had a lot of people in my ear at the time. Like I said, I don't really remember what happened, but to me, I ended up going with Warner. They had a better deal for me at the time.
Okay.
And to this day, I'm not sure if that was the right direction to go or if it wasn't. I've been on my label for like 4 years, and just recently, we got that Beyoncé single. So I'm like, ooh, that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm still back and forth with it. Like, if I would have went with YG, you know what I'm saying? How would it have turned out? Would I have got through more publishing deals? Would I have hooked up with Mustard? Would I became a main producer? Or for me being on my own, me being with Warner, you feel me? Is this the best route? So I don't really know if it's an L yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I took a loss yet as far as for me being signed yet.
Well, let me ask you this: how did you not sign it with him affect your relationship with him, or did it at all?
Yeah, it was bad for a minute.
Oh, it was bad. Okay.
Called me like, you signed with the mother niggas. I'm like, man. And then we just stopped talking for a minute. And I reached out a few times, but it just really wasn't a response. And then, you know, him and Kamaiyah had their own separate issues. So you feel, but now we good. Like I still send tracks to him. Sometimes he respond and slap, you know what I'm saying, it's going. But yeah, we did fall off for a minute though, for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. Like 2 years from now, y'all won't even be tripping on it. You know what I mean? The first few months.
We not tripping on it right now. We talked about it. He even flew me out to me like a couple years ago to Vegas, and I was like, man, my bad about that. I'm like, I don't trip off that. That's the business. You feel me?
Yeah, that's the business. Yeah. I can't. Man, you gotta. What? You got the Melly track, the IC track, right?
Yeah.
And Ivy Park Adidas commercial. You didn't take an L, bro.
There you go.
You got Beyonce. Now, this is not a knock on YG. I'm just saying right. Because he probably could have got you Beyonce. Who's to say? But you got your music in a Beyonce advertisement. You're from the Bay Area.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Come on, you're in the communities, man. You know I know people that know you. I know what you about.
For sure.
That's a W, bro. You made a decision that led you to a Beyonce commercial. You don't even have to question that no more. How does that even work? Like, I'm assuming you haven't met her.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I said we did the track 2017. The song been out, and really, you know, like 2 weeks ago, they hit me with the email like, approve this request. I'm like, a request for what? And I saw Beyonce name on there and Ivy Park, and I had to like, you know, somebody else read this. What to say? What is this? So, yeah, that's just I got to give it up to the label for that one. They did their thing on that. I mean, Ryan Press, shout out Ryan Press, because he the one that signed me from Warner, and he got the placement for Melly for So Icy. So he made all that happen.
He made that happen. Bro, you got to look at it like if you just kind of wrote a list of your accolades to point, you know, we were just talking about you with Drake on one of your songs, and now we got Beyonce. Everything that comes to her camp is approved by Beyonce, bro. So you're looking at this commercial, and the first thing you hear is CT Beats. Come on, man.
Yeah, that took me a while. I ain't gonna lie. I was in LA when she posted it, and I was actually at a studio house with Kamaiyah. I mean, and it took me some hours to really. I was tripping. I'm like, man, is this real? This really happened? Like, y'all don't understand where I come from. Y'all don't understand what we go through out here. You know what I'm saying? And for me to focus my energy on music and it actually worked. Like I wasn't supposed to be here. You feel me? I wasn't supposed to, you feel me, live this long or nothing like that where I'm from. So it's like, yeah, it's still surreal to me. You know
it's still surreal, huh?
I still go to her page and be like, damn, that's crazy.
That's amazing, man. I'm trying to think of what's the clip of the Kamaiyah video I was watching. I think you might have posted where everybody's on the rooftop of a apartment building.
That's Still I Am.
Still I Am. Yeah. You and Kamaiyah got a really, really unique relationship to me, man. Like y'all, you know, I don't know the inner workings of it, but y'all really for the Bay Area have really, really done some monumental things in a short amount of time. And you're still in your prime, and y'all done it independently, which is bonkers. How has y'all relationship endured, you know, through this success and through the politics? What is the nature of y'all relationship now?
So right now we good. That's sis right there. I mean,
okay.
Like, until days is over. Cause you know, one thing at the time I was working with Kamaiyah, I was working with maybe 40 other artists in the Bay. I was always told as a producer, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, plant as many eggs as you can in every basket that's around you. And Kamaiyah is just one of those baskets. And the commitment we made to each other was, for me, if I make it, you make it. If you make it, I'll make it. You know what I'm saying? And for her to keep that commitment, like she didn't call no other producer when they wanted to fly her out. She actually was like, I can't go without my producer. So the producer and the artist relationship is probably the most important thing when it comes to making a song. For you to have somebody that you can trust with your music, and in a time like that, like the label hit us, we was out there, you feel me? And that night, like I said, we made 10 tracks. So we've always had a strong relationship, a strong bond. When the business hit, like I said, politics got involved, money got involved. She hated my manager at the time. So it kind of fell off, you feel me? And for like a year or two, I mean, we didn't put out no records. I ain't do no tracks for her. And but since we have went through that and we talked about it, we've gotten stronger. For me,
yeah.
we was a little younger then, we a little older now. You know what I'm saying? And we like, man, like forget all that politics, forget all what everybody talking about. When it comes to this music, this is our dream, and this is what we're gonna do. And we need each other to get to where we're going. You feel me? If I fucking with you, same thing. You feel me? We go both ways. And like I said, for now we stronger than ever. We don't really deal with no BS. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to other producers, I'm friendly. You know what I'm saying? I collab with everybody she want me to collab with. And we locked in. You feel me?
See, that's real right there, because it ain't nothing in the rule book that said that the people you down with is always going to be hunky dory. Like the business always shakes shit up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And the time that y'all were apart from each other, who was it that made put out the olive branch? Who reached out to say, hey man, let's chop it up?
I mean, I think we both did. I think for a long time we didn't hit each other. I think I hit her on Instagram a few times. Like, we need to get back in. We need to lock back in. Because I'm in my deal, and my deal really ain't moving too much because you the artist that I really got signed with. So me and YG kind of ain't really working right now because, you feel me? And then with me and you not working, my music production was just slowing down. So like, you feel me? Until I get to a certain level, you feel me? We got to work. You know what I'm saying? And we reconnected maybe like a year or two after that little fallout, and we've been locked in ever since.
I love it. Man, y'all got something special, man. Come on, you have to go through that to get to this.
Yeah, for sure. That's part of the story. You feel me?
Yeah, that's all a part of the story. You keep bringing up where you from. Specifically, what neighborhood you from?
I was raised on 35th, 35th Davis, right there in East Oakland.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time in the deep. That's where Youth Uprising is. It's on 88th and Mac. For me. So I will spend months over there. So that's kind of where I'm from. For me, I say I'm from East Oakland. For me, the deep part to be exact. You know what I'm saying?
How hard was it to you got to be from Oakland to get it. You know what I mean? But it's hard not to get caught up in Oakland.
I definitely, you feel me, have my little run-ins. You know what I'm saying? Being from the town, like, you feel me, it's a certain one you got to walk around out here. So, you feel me? But like I said, I came into a little trouble, and I found out that ain't really what I want to do. So I'm going to really pursue this music. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, like, I didn't have, I've been shot at, everything. Like, I didn't have over 20 partners died in the streets. So I'm definitely right there, in that part of Oakland where it's like, and that's why it's so effective of what we doing. Like it's accomplishments. Yeah, I'm doing my thing. But for me, it's different because it's like, we wasn't, like me being from church, even my family wasn't always with me doing secular music. So even with me doing it, and them sometimes saying, it ain't gonna work out, you can get a job once you want. And then for me to really do it, and for me to get paid for it and make a living off of it, it just touches so many different areas in my life being from Oakland.
Yeah, man, you so many people, and I keep pointing this out, because it's been a long time you've been at this, but it hasn't been that long that the world know you on this level. And what I think is important is one of the things I appreciate that you do. Two things, because I know you work with Pee Wee a long way, who's my homie.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Another one. I actually hit him up. He said he was for me, but we ain't really locked in again yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that dude, man. He's an interesting dude. It's something you do with your sound that I like too. I like the song with Too Short and Fab, the Violent Joint off the Bay Area mixtape. To me, it's like that quintessential Bay Area sound, but it's modified now. Like it got your whatever that shine you put on it. You'll produce for Too Short. You'll produce for YG. You produce for Kamaiyah. But then what I like too is that you'll produce for Simone or some of these artists that I listen to when I listen to the Lost Files Volume 1. What's the young lady name who did the bars joint? What's her name?
That's Give It To Him Lala.
Give It To Him Lala. I'm listening to all of these tracks. I don't know if the dude named Pooh Man or P-H-O, Pooh Man. I'm listening to these tracks. I'm listening to these singers and I'm listening to these rappers and I'm listening to just this. Man, they remind me of Fame. Like I don't know if you ever watched the movie Fame from back in the day. Nope. You just got a whole lot of creative people all going to one school, and it feel like that's kind of what you creating with these projects, man. It was really fun for me. 214, he's been doing it for a minute. So it was really fun for me to hear all this new talent. Why is that so important for you? And what's your plan with all of this new talent that you're working around?
So, like I said, being signed for me is definitely two different worlds. When I'm in the industry and I'm doing sessions for me major artists rather than, in my city. Like my city is what I know. For me, my city is what I'm used to. Those type of sessions is what got me to where I'm at now. So it even comes up a couple of times about, how much I charge for a beat. So it's like, for me, I'm the same producer I was, for me, before I got signed. So Kamaiyah, she blew up and I was off of love. You feel me? She had thrown me $25, $50 just for me to feed my family, for me, but it was all love. So I'm always do that because you never know who gonna blow, and then also you never know who lives you gonna touch. You know what I'm saying? Because I was that young producer in the studio where another producer came to me and was like, "Let me show you something." So I think it's my duty to be that person to the youngsters that breathe that life. You feel me? Like you said, for me, when I was doing these projects, it wasn't planned or nothing. For me, I'll go to a studio or I'll go to the center and I'll just start making music. And then these artists will come, they'll just flock around. The studios be packed out because everybody trying to get a verse for me on this for me hot track. And that is everything to me, is when you can breathe life into a youngster, especially a youngster where I'm from. I mean, you don't know where he just came from. You don't know what, you feel me, what he just did. But for him to come in here, and because just music sound good, he believe he can really, feel me, be a rap star. He put his, you feel me, he put his whole being into it. He start calling me, CT, I need another beat, or CT, you feel me, with a video. So it's like, that's more so important to me than anything, is always being that pillar in the community, to where like the kids that I was working for me at the school for, they really didn't think I was who I was, because it's like, how you here and you working with us, but you got for me Kamaiyah and Capolo and all these people in your music, like this don't even sound real. I'm like, well, that's gonna be the producer that I am. Like I'm gonna always be in my community working. You know what I'm saying? No matter what level I'm on, no matter for me, Beyonce, Drake, it don't matter. Like I'm gonna always be that person. You feel me?
I love it, man. I feel like between what you're doing, what the mechanics are doing, what 40 Son is doing, you know, all the different producers we got coming out of HBK. Man, we don't even talk about like, you know, people like the Dominoes and A pluses from the Hieroglyphics and Delta Funky Homo Sapiens, Dan the Automator, who worked with the Gorillas and all of these different legendary rock bands, Raphael Sadiq. We got all of these, man, we got so many chefs in the Bay Area.
Sure.
I feel like what Empire, what Gazi and them guys have been doing, I think Bay Area is on the cusp of having another moment, similar to how we've seen the South have a moment.
Sure.
You know, different regions have their moment. LA, TDE have their moment. Do you see that?
No, I definitely do. And I definitely want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Bay got all these artists that's, for me, that's peaking right now, that's coming out. For me, you got Kehlani. Like you said, you got Sweetie, you know what I'm saying? You got Kamaiyah, you got somebody, for me, some dudes out here that's working. So it's definitely some light being shown to the Bay right now. And with Gazi doing what he doing, like we ain't never had that main hub like what he doing. You feel me? And he's really starting some stuff to where I was just in the studio with Sada. You know what I'm saying? And Sada got a couple records, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully they come out. But it's just like, that's big for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
They had a workshop up there.
You were actually in the studio? Yeah, I went in the studio.
Yeah, Sada, he know me. You know what I'm saying?
Tell Sada I said what up.
Yeah, man. And he cool. He cool. You know what I'm saying? That man worked. You know what I'm saying? He really was in there knocking tracks out, like off the top of the head. I'm like, okay. You know
off the top. Like who's, because I saw this thing, not to cut you off, we'll come back to. I saw this thing online, a challenge, a 16-bar challenge. I think it was called Spit. Was that you? They was using your beat. It was using a beat you made.
Was it Thizzler?
It might have been Thizzler.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to ask you about bars, man. Like for Bay Area artists, like who are your? I ain't saying you saying they're the best of all time, but in your book, who are like the top lyrical bar spitters in the Bay to you?
In the Bay, we talking about like people that everybody know, or like people that, you feel me? Like,
both.
So you feel me? Off tops, Mr. Fab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? I still ain't never seen nobody do it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've recorded Fab, and he really be freestyling bar for bar. Like,
hey man, me and Fab got some historical moments on freestyling. Like Fab would come up on the Sway in the Morning show, bro. We would set the world on fire every time. We would plan it too.
He don't stop. He go.
Yeah.
So all props, Mr. Fab for sure.
Okay.
Like my number one pick. You know, me and Short, that's the dog. You know what I'm saying? That's the OG that I look up to. And me and him for sure, you know, got a couple records, and me and him for sure been in the studio. He definitely helped me out. To be honest with you, I really mess with G-Eazy.
G-Eazy, yeah. People sleep on G-Eazy. Why is that? Why folks won't give him, give him a medal? What's that about?
I don't know, but I mess with G. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's the culture thing. I'm not sure, but I mess with G-Eazy tough, and I think he underrated. But he's such a big artist, you know what I'm saying, that people probably overlook to me that he from here. I think I was at Dwayne Wiggins spot, Tony. And I mess with Dwayne too. Shout out Dwayne. But G-Eazy pulled up there to do a video shoot, and he was driving a '67 Mustang, and that's my favorite car. So I'm like, yeah, it can be all right. I actually got something coming out with G-Eazy too.
On his new project?
No, D-Lo. Me and D-Lo been working hard, and D-Lo got a fire track.
Talk about D-Lo, man, because you guys have worked together, and D-Lo's one of Big Von's favorite dudes too. You know what I mean? Me and Von discuss a lot of artists, and talk to the people who don't know who D-Lo is. Talk about D-Lo, man.
D-Lo, that's the homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, recently, me and D-Lo hooked up a couple months ago, and he like, you my producer now. I mean, it's like on that level. But D-Lo got the gas. D-Lo, for me, he got one of the biggest records from the Bay. And everywhere you go, they know ho. You know what I'm saying? And every time they come on, they change the atmosphere straight up. You know what I'm saying? So D-Lo, he been getting it in for a while, and he got some tracks coming for sure.
Okay. I want to ask you about these two amazing artists that are coming from the Bay that people don't even know of yet. Harmony and Lyric. Tell me about them. I think they're gonna be the future of the Bay. What's that? What's the story behind that?
So me and their mom met at the center. It's actually a backstory.
Okay.
To all of this. You feel me? So I was working with Kamaiyah, feel me, and then I met a female rapper named Lala. And whenever two females is in the same room that both rap, it's always gonna be a little tension there. So I'm always gonna be Kamaiyah producer, but this girl like had gas. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I gotta work with her. You know what I'm saying? So we started working out the water to this day, kill anything. You know what I'm saying? I put all my baskets in her for sure. And she just need that right exposure. But we met, it started to build on a relationship, and you feel me? And then the kids started coming. Now, I'm a music man. My legacy is to make beats, to be known for me, what I do, change lives, whatever it is. So, I got, two little kids running around. We don't, feel me, they around all this music since they've been in the belly. So I think one day I was making a track, and you feel me, the daughter was sitting there, and she was just, feel me, started humming, started doing a little something. And I must have like just recorded it on my computer, end up making a hook out of it. Maybe like 2 weeks later, wrote a song for her, and she was ready to go. You know what I'm saying? That's Kamaiyah, that's Harmony. And then she got a little sister, and her name is Lyric, her name is Nelly. And she like, well, I see my sister doing this, and she was killing it. She performing and doing shows, and everybody like, who is this little girl? So then, feel me, the little sister came and was like, I want to do it. So we got a whole project, 10 tracks, Harmony and Lyric. You know what I'm saying? CT1, CT2, that's basically my legacy. That's how I'm gonna continue to be here without being here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm passing it down to them, and I'm about to drop them real soon.
How old are they?
Right now, currently, Kamaiyah is 9, and Chanel is 7.
It's a big market out there, for these kids. Like when you look at the girl JoJo, the teenager who got millions of followers, it's a lot of like YouTube channels for kids where they entertaining themselves. I'm curious to like when we talk today, we talking about all the pitfalls of the music business. And then also the pitfalls of fame, man. Like with success, fame is it's an ugly thing, man. That's a dirty drug, bro.
Surely. For sure.
It's is complicated to deal with unless you got a great foundation. Even the best of us crack when it comes to fame. You know, how would you protect your daughters from that though? You know, because the kind of music they're making, they could become really popular really fast.
Right.
And that's a very mental play, this whole fame thing. What's your plan in regards to protecting them?
I mean, even now, you feel me? I don't never force it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like a Joe Jackson. I'm like, get in here, you can't play. It's more so like, I want you to enjoy it. Because when I make it, I enjoy it. And hopefully, you feel me, if it make you some money one day, just keep it going. But like I said, I haven't really, feel me, tapped into the fame myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not fully prepared for it, but they're my daughters. You know like, I'm from Oakland. I'm not gonna let, for me, no harm, no danger come to them for sure. I'm a present father every day. So I'm like, well, when it comes, let's see how we're gonna deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I talk to them about it every day. Like, do you want to me be famous? You want to be on YouTube? You want everybody to? They already kind of get treated different at their school because
they hot on campus.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They a little razzle dazzle. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I just try to talk to them and try to make sure that they enjoying what they doing. And you know, when that stuff happens, we're gonna deal with it. I mean, and if it's really what you want for yourself, then we can do it. But if not, I ain't gonna pressure you.
Well, I know you got some projects coming up. Lost Files 2, and then what's it called? Stick to making beats.
Stick to making beats.
Yeah, and these are all coming through your own platform, the Real Music platform, right?
Yep. Yeah.
What do you see for yourself in the next 3 years?
So, like I said, being signed since 2016, being a producer, I was expecting something a little different as far as you know, people really knowing who I am, really knowing who made these beats. But I see in the industry, the culture is a little different. The artist gets more of the front lining, or they get more of the exposure, and sometimes a producer, sometimes they're not mentioned. They left unmentioned. People don't really know who produced it, not unless you really making a name for yourself. So I had to kind of, restructure myself and be like, you know what? I don't want to be a background producer or producer that's, just, in the background. I want to be a producer that's known. So now I'm taking that approach, and that's why I'm about to start dropping my own records. You know what I'm saying? I got the Lost Files project. Those are songs that I'm putting out basically for all the, my local artists. Like, this is the tracks that we did. I don't know what y'all did with them, but I'm gonna put them out. So when people look my name up, they know what they've known the stuff that I've done. So the 2 Lost Files project, I'm gonna always drop those because I'm always working with kids from the community. So I'm gonna always drop the Lost Files. Those are series that's gonna keep going. And then I decided, like, I do music. It ain't just making beats. Like, I do it all. I teach music. I teach choirs. I teach students. I write music. All of that. So I'm like, forget it. Like, let me drop my own music too. Let me start my own name. Let me get my own name out there and get my own brand out there as well. So that's where the Stick to Making Beats come from. Is people always told me, just produce. Just make beats. You don't need to do nothing else. But I'm like, no, man, fuck that. Like, what you mean? Like, I can make music. So that's where the Stick to Making Beats concept come from. Is like, respect this. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Like, I can still make my own music and still get this shit popping at the same time while I'm making beats, while I'm producing for these big artists. Because it ain't gonna hurt. Like, I'm all the way invested into this. You know what I'm saying? So let me do this.
I like it, man. I remember when they when they told LeBron when he was speaking out against social injustice, and some commentator said, "Jim, man, we just want you to shut up and dribble."
you know, like, no, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you what this do right here. You know, check this out. And like I said, I'm a music person, so my life is invested into the music. And I know what music does and how music can touch people and how music can influence people. So I'm like, well, when people tap in and CT beats, what are they gonna get? Like, what's the whole picture or the whole formula that they gonna get from CT. Oh yeah, CT make beats. He be rapping. He be writing. For me, working with different. For me, I want all of that.
Yeah, you want all of it.
Sure.
You want the recognition, the acknowledgement, the respect, the credibility, all of it. I get it. Why not? Right?
So that's why I'm putting my own music out. Like I said, my wife is a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Her spit, you'll go bananas, and then I got my daughters. So it's like these. Go ahead.
Your wife is Lala?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you said. Okay. Tell her she got bars. She got bars.
Yeah, she got the gas.
She got some bars. Okay. She gonna have to come up to the show one day though. We put her to the, you put her to that real test.
She ready any day, any time. You know
okay. That's what's up. Oh, well, man, I'm happy for you, brother. Like, you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, to me, to be honest with you, it's not enough for me. Like, I'm used to working at a bigger capacity. Like, you feel me? Like, my thing is working in person with the artists. That's why I shine the most at. Like, it's cool to send tracks and it's cool to send beats and packs, but when I'm in the studio with the artists, we locked in. I just got in with Neff. I just got in with SOB, the boy, Slimmy D, and they all say the same thing. Like, you got the juice. Like, when I sit down with you and you actually tell me what you want, I'm gonna make a slapper for you. You feel me? That's just what it is.
What song right now? I mean, it's like trying to pick a kid, but you love all your kids. But what song right now changed your life the most?
Man, it's between the Melly track and the Why You Always Hating track. I think Kamaiyah's music has had more of an impact on me personally because, you feel me, of the situation. But as far as like my career and what I've done, I think this Beyoncé track is going, you feel me? Melly is going to do it for me.
Well, congratulations, man, to you and Kamaiyah and what you guys have been able to create together and what you're doing on your own with your platform. Being from Oakland, man, I'm proud of you. And here's the thing, bro. You just begun. You just begun. And so, I mean, you've been doing it for a while, but you just begun. You know what I mean?
Cause that coming from you, that's big for me. Cause you know, for me, what you've done, for me, places you've been. So it's like, for me to actually be on here with you, you to be actually talking to me about my music, that's still a huge accomplishment for me. That's right there with the Why You Always Hating track, the Beyonce, now for me, the Sway show, like, for me, and that's the homie right there. For me, from where I'm from, so that's real big.
Come on, man. I used to run up and down 35th Ave too. I got some stories. I had to run out of there once.
There you go. You already know.
Okay, come on, man. I can't even think of the name of that apartment complex. Is right off the 35th Ave exit. And you make a right if you're going east. If you're going from downtown to Hayward.
Yeah, I know you're talking about 580 right there. Little PJs right there.
Yeah. I used to run up in there years ago.
I used to go to the little Allendale. I think that's the name of the school right around the corner from over there.
Oh, you used to go to Allendale? I went to Bret Hart.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's right there on MacArthur.
That's right over there too. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I'm proud of you. This is part one. We're gonna do another one down the line. Okay.
No, for sure. I definitely, if it's still good, I definitely want to come to New York.
Absolutely. When we open up, man, come bring them beats too, man. We'll do a freestyle. We'll do a cipher, and you can curate the beats.
I'm down for it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're gonna open up later on in the year. So once it's safe, we're gonna make that happen.
We own it. For sure.
Okay. Yo, this is a great conversation, man. You got a lot going on. Congratulations. And we're gonna keep talking you up. All right.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the Sway show. Give me a shout out, Sway show. You know what I'm saying? CT Beats in the building, man.
There it is. Come on, town business. Yee!